In the beginning, there was fire. It burned somewhere in the darkness, and around it sat people, silent, weary, wrapped in smoke and fear of what hid beyond the glow. In the distance, two yellow points of light appeared. Not the eyes of an enemy, not the reflection of flame. The eyes of a wolf. He watched, not with anger, but with curiosity. Perhaps it was the warmth that drew him in, or the scent of roasting meat, or something deeper, an instinct whispering that it was safe to trust. There, by the fire, began a story the world had never known. The story of friendship between a predator and a man. It wasn't an easy friendship. The wolf approached slowly, over weeks, months. At first, he stole scraps. Later, he sat closer. Man was afraid at first. He saw in the wolf a threat, a reflection of his own hunger and wildness. But in time, he understood that this shadow from the forest had not come to fight. It had come to stay. In winter, when frost stiffened the air, their breaths mingled in the same rhythm. And perhaps for the first time on Earth, two different species understood each other without words. What began as an exchange, food and safety in return for watchfulness and loyalty, slowly turned into an evolutionary process. The tamest wolves had the best chance of survival. Humans fed and protected them, and in return, the wolves offered what humans lacked: sharper hearing, a keener sense of smell, faster reflexes. Thus, nature, guided by human hands, began to transform a predator into a companion. Genetic studies suggest that this process began around 30 to 40,000 years ago. It was a long journey. Everything changed, not just the form. The brain evolved, adapting to life alongside humans. The digestive system shifted. Dogs learned to process starch, something wolves still cannot do. Even instinct transformed. Where the wolf sees rivalry, the dog sees leadership. Over millennia, this bond became something extraordinary. Humans, without realizing it, chose the animals that were closest to them emotionally, calmer, more attentive, eager to cooperate. It was evolution through affection. From the wild wolf emerged a creature capable of reading our gestures, our tone, our gaze. No other species understands human emotions so intuitively. Then came what humans do best: experimentation. From dogs came hundreds of breeds, from tiny Yorkies to massive Mastiffs, from sprinters to sled dogs, from herders to hunters. Each of them carries a fragment of the ancient wolf: strength, loyalty, the instinct to survive, shaped by human need. And though today a dog sleeps on a couch, eats kibble from a bowl, and might even have an Instagram account, all it takes is a sound in the night, and something awakens. The echo of its ancient nature, the voice of the wolf still living inside. Because a dog never stopped being a wolf, it simply learned to live on our side of the fire. The dog was not created by man. He chose man himself. In an age when other animals fled from the flame, the wolf sat beside it. Those who weren't afraid survived. They gained food, warmth, protection. In return, they warned of danger, helped hunt, followed scents invisible to the human eye. Evolution did not so much create the dog as forge an alliance, one that has endured for thousands of years, evolved, but never died. Today, when we look at a dog, we see more than an animal. We see the guardian of the household fire, the echo of that first night. We see loyalty that has outlasted kingdoms, civilizations, and wars. In his eyes, the ancient forest still gleams. In his heart, the rhythm of the wolf pack still beats. And yet, he is the one who learned to live beside us, not as a servant, but as a companion. A dog is a masterpiece of nature, a living compromise between power and grace, between speed and precision. Every part of its body was shaped by thousands of years of evolution, by the need to move and survive. We look at him and see a friend. But in his design, we still glimpse the shadow of the wolf. A creature built to run, to hunt, to fight, and to live wild. Let's start with the skeleton. A flexible framework of about 320 bones. Fewer than in humans, yet each with a precise purpose. A dog's spine is remarkably elastic, allowing bursts of acceleration, sharp turns, and leaps. Thanks to this flexibility, a dog can literally fold mid-air, then spring forward again like a coiled spring. Its limbs act as natural shock absorbers. The hind legs provide thrust, the front legs stabilize landing. A dog's paws are masterpieces of biological engineering. Soft pads cushion impact and insulate against cold, while specialized sweat glands help regulate temperature and leave behind scent, an invisible signature unique to every dog. Its claws aren't for climbing, as in cats, but for traction and balance. They help it pivot at high speeds, stop suddenly on mud or ice, and chase with precision. The tail, seemingly just decoration, is a tool of communication and emotion. It's a language in its own right. A wagging tail doesn't always mean happiness. A low tail signals fear, a high one confidence, a stiff, still tail, tension. It also helps maintain balance during sudden turns or jumps, acting like a rudder in flight. The ears, mobile, alert, independent. A dog can move them separately, scanning for sounds hundreds of meters away. Its hearing is 4 to 10 times more acute than ours. It perceives frequencies that, to us, are silence, from the faint rustle of a mouse to the pitch of ultrasound. That's why a dog often reacts long before we realize anything's happening. The nose, it is the center of his world. For humans, vision dominates. For dogs, it's smell. Their noses hold around 300 million olfactory receptors, while humans have barely 5 million. And beyond that, a dog can separate scents into layers, as if seeing the ingredients of the air. To him, every person smells unique. Every object carries a story. The mouth and tongue are tools of survival and communication. A dog's teeth are made for tearing flesh, sharp canines, powerful jaws capable of exerting 150 to 200 kilograms of pressure per square centimeter. But the tongue is also a cooling system. Dogs don't sweat as we do, so they release heat by panting, pushing warm air through an open mouth. A dog's eyes are built for motion and twilight. He sees the world mainly in shades of blue and yellow, unable to distinguish red. A ball on the grass might be almost invisible, yet he'll detect its slightest movement. His eyes are attuned to the subtlest shifts in light, letting him hunt at dawn and dusk, as befits a descendant of predators. Beneath his fur lies skin alive with touch receptors, sensitive to the faintest currents of air. That's why a dog feels a light brush or the approach of another body before contact is made. It explains his instinctive responses: the shiver, the muscle tension, the raised hackles when something unsettles him. But beyond all this anatomical perfection lies something deeper: emotion. A dog's heart beats faster than a human's, yet its rhythm slows when it rests beside the person it loves. That's biology that no microscope can measure. Proof that his body, made for running and fighting, has learned one more thing: peace in the presence of a human. A dog is a fusion of predator's physiology and a companion's soul. Built for life in the wild, he has adapted to the couch. Yet every muscle, every hair, every nerve remembers what he once was. And that is why his body, even in stillness, is always ready to move. A dog doesn't speak, yet he communicates, not through words, but through the body. Every flick of an ear, every wag of the tail, every twitch of a muscle means something. To a human, it often seems like mere behavior, but to a dog, it is language, precise, emotional, rooted deep in instinct. He doesn't need words to tell you he trusts you, that he's afraid, or that he misses you. A single look is enough. The ears are his antennae. When they stand upright, the dog is alert, analyzing. When they tilt slightly back, that's uncertainty or submission. When pressed flat against the head, fear, stress, sometimes shame. That's why a dog reacts to the tone of your voice before understanding a single word. He hears emotions. Studies show that dogs recognize not only sound, but the melody of emotion. They can distinguish anger from joy, sadness from calm, even if they don't know the language you speak. The tail is his second face. When it swings wide and low, it's not joy but tension. When raised high and stiff, confidence, perhaps too much of it. When tucked between the legs, there's no need for words, fear, guilt, sometimes shame. Yet the tail isn't just for emotion. It's also a tool for spreading pheromones, chemical messages that to other dogs are like scent letters. When dogs greet each other, they sniff near the tail not out of curiosity, but to know. In that single inhale, they read another's sex, age, health, and mood. For them, scent is biography. Pheromones form the secret alphabet of the canine world. Dogs have scent glands in their paws, around the muzzle, on the neck, and near the tail. Each releases slightly different compounds, creating an olfactory signature, like fingerprints in the air. Fascinatingly, scientists have found that dogs can even detect a human's emotional state from sweat and breath. When you're stressed, your body releases different molecules. A dog senses that before you're even aware of it. That's why he comes to rest his head on you before you've said a word about your hard day. His eyes, calm at a glance, yet always scanning emotion. Dogs can read human facial expressions, and studies show they respond much like infants, seeking eye contact, interpreting smiles, following gaze. What's more, when a dog looks into your eyes, both his brain and yours release oxytocin, the hormone of trust and bonding. A biological dialogue, invisible but real. A dog's memory is more than scents and places. He remembers your voice, its tone, rhythm, emotion. Years later, he can recognize a former owner not by face but by sound. For him, a voice is safety, a heartbeat he knows by heart. When a dog stands still, ears tense, tail raised, gaze locked, it's not just alertness, it's language, concentration, an instinct passed down from ancestors. But when he lays his head on your lap and his body softens, it means one thing: he understands you. He didn't need words to know how you feel. A dog's love is something humanity has tried to explain for thousands of years. And something we felt from the first moment we met his gaze. A dog doesn't speak, write, or promise. Yet his presence fills a home with warmth science can't measure. We can peer into his brain, track hormones, read neural waves, but one truth remains: a dog truly loves. Only he loves in his own way. From a biological point of view, a dog's love is first and foremost chemistry. The same mechanisms that shape human affection shape his. The key player is oxytocin, the hormone of attachment, tenderness, and trust. It's released when a mother holds her child, but also when a dog looks into his person's eyes. A study in Japan showed that when dog and human maintain eye contact for several minutes, oxytocin levels rise in both, just like between lovers or parents and children. A biological proof that what binds us is more than training. It's an emotional feedback loop. The dog feels your love, and so he loves you even more. But his emotions aren't purely chemical. Dogs have a highly developed amygdala, the brain's center for emotion, memory, and fear. There, they form what scientists call a map of social relationships. A dog memorizes your voice, scent, movements, and the feelings linked to them. Over time, he builds an inner image of you and associates it with safety. That's why even after years apart, a dog recognizes his person before a word is spoken. It's not memory. It's emotion engraved in biology. A dog's love isn't blind. He doesn't idealize. He loves not for who you are, but because you are. In his world, there's no betrayal, pride, or jealousy as we know it. Only raw, pure emotion. When a dog loses his human, his brain reacts like ours after losing someone dear. Serotonin levels drop, appetite fades, sleep vanishes, apathy sets in. A dog grieves, quite literally. To a dog, a human isn't just part of the pack. He's its center, the axis of safety. Dogs raised in love respond to a touch or a voice like to medicine. Their pulse slows, muscles relax. The brain settles into a rhythm of calm. It's not magic, it's neurobiology. And yet, there is magic too, because no study can explain why a dog waits by the door for hours when his human is gone. A dog's senses are emotional. He smells your feelings. He can distinguish the scent of joy from the scent of fear. In 2020, researchers in Naples found that dogs experience stress when their owners are anxious, even if the person's face shows nothing. Scent alone is enough. It means dogs can catch our emotions, forming a shared emotional system where their mood mirrors ours and ours theirs. Some studies go further. Dogs can recognize a human smile and associate it with reward. That's why they respond with joy when you smile at them. For them, your smile says, "All is well." You see their wagging tail. They see your eyes. A wordless exchange, yet perfectly understood. But a dog's love is also instinct, ancient as fire. In a wolf pack, bonds are powerful, almost familial. Shared hunts, grooming, physical closeness, all strengthen the group. Domestic dogs have carried those rituals to us. When he curls at your feet, licks your hand, or sleeps by your head. It's not habit. It's a ritual of belonging. In his world, touch means, "You are my pack." Modern science is only beginning to grasp what humans have always known. A dog can love in a neurological sense. He feels, empathizes, connects. But his love lacks human complication. He doesn't plan, judge, or remember yesterday's quarrel. He loves here and now. When you return home after work, he doesn't recall your morning hurry. He remembers only that you came back. And that is what makes a dog extraordinary. Not his loyalty, his belief. He believes you'll return. He believes you are good. He believes in something we ourselves often forget, that love can be unconditional. There is no other creature that can remain so silent, yet say so much. Place your hand on his head and you'll know, truly know, that what he feels needs no words. A dog seems calm, or so it appears as he lies curled beside human feet, breathing softly. But beneath the fur and quiet eyes lies something far older. The echo of the forest, the instinct that remembers when life was measured in hunts, not walks in the park. A dog isn't aggressive by nature. He is a predator who has learned to live in peace. It's no paradox, it's the miracle of evolution. Every dog carries a wolf within, not as threat, but as genetic memory. Aggression, that primal energy, was once a survival tool, to hunt, to defend, to protect. When the wolf approached man, he didn't lose that energy. He learned to control it. Instead of fighting for life, he began to fight for attention. Instead of guarding his den, he guarded the human home. The instinct remained, only its purpose changed. Aggression in dogs isn't evil. It's emotion. Just like fear, joy, or curiosity. It's a reaction, not a trait. A dog may be calm all his life and suddenly react when he feels threatened. That doesn't make him dangerous. It makes him alive, guided by the mechanism that once saved his species. In his world, aggression isn't violence, it's communication. I'm afraid. don't come closer. People forget that dogs have no words. They have bodies. And the body speaks long before a bite. The body stiffens, the tail stops, ears rise, pupils widen. Not rage, warning. A person who can read this will see that no dog bites without reason. There's always a reason, we just often fail to notice it. Science has long shown that aggression doesn't depend on breed, but on environment, upbringing, and stress. Genes can shape tendencies, strength, reflex, prey drive, but it's humans who decide what becomes of them. In 2016, researchers at the University of Pennsylvania studied over 1,000 dogs across breeds. They found that the smallest, dachshunds, chihuahuas, terriers, showed more aggressive behavior than shepherds or Rottweilers. Not because they're worse, but because humans ignore their warning signals more often, letting frustration build until defense turns into attack. Hormones also play a part. Testosterone can boost territorial behavior, and adrenaline under stress can turn fear into offense. But chemistry doesn't make a dog dangerous. Imbalance does, between fear and trust. A dog who feels safe has no need for aggression. His natural state is calmness, alertness, curiosity. All dogs are born with the potential for aggression, just as they are born with the potential for love. These are tools nature has given them to survive. It's humans who decide which of these tools they learn to use. When a dog grows up in stress, pain, and confusion, aggression becomes its language. But when it grows up surrounded by patience, touch, and predictability, its language becomes calm. A dog doesn't plan harm. It doesn't hold grudges. It doesn't seek revenge. Its aggression is like lightning, sudden, brief, triggered by tension that had no other outlet. And that's exactly why a person who knows how to read their dog's emotions never has to be afraid of them. The most beautiful thing is that even dogs who have known violence can change. Their brains retain neuroplasticity, the ability to learn anew, to associate touch with safety rather than pain. All it takes is patience and consistency. For a dog, calm is the most precious signal. It means the world is steady again. A dog is not born aggressive. It's born alert. And alertness is not the same as anger. There is no desire to destroy in its nature, only a will to survive. And perhaps that's why it has lived beside humans for thousands of years. Because a human who listens without words can turn wild instinct into something else entirely. Trust. Sometimes it takes just one summer. One move, one trip, we can't take him with us. And the dog is left behind. In a parking lot, a forest by the side of the road. Once it had a home, a spot by the couch, the scent of its person on a hand. Now it's alone, wearing a collar that suddenly means nothing. For us, it's a decision. For the dog, the end of the world. Because a dog doesn't understand abandonment. It only knows a lost pack. Inside its head, something invisible is happening. The limbic system, the same one that governs human emotion, goes into shock. Cortisol, the stress hormone, spikes. The heart races. The brain starts searching for the owner's scent. A dog's sense of smell is up to 100,000 times stronger than ours. They can follow a person's trace for days, even travel dozens of miles guided only by what once meant home. They don't understand they were given away. They only understand they were left. The first days are the hardest. The dog runs, searches, sniffs, doesn't eat. Its body floods with adrenaline, the alarm state. Then exhaustion sets in, apathy follows. Some wander aimlessly, others hide in the bushes. Then survival mode kicks in. The dog learns to live alone. But life on the streets is not freedom, as some romantically imagine. It's a fight for every single day. A social creature that evolved in a pack suddenly finds itself without one. No contact, no touch, no voice. It's like losing a language. Dogs can suffer psychologically. Studies from the University of Padua showed that dogs grieving a lost owner display symptoms similar to human mourning. They eat less, sleep less, avoid contact, and show signs of anxiety. They don't understand death, but they understand absence. Over time, that emptiness can turn into what humans mistake for aggression. A dog that has been beaten, starved, or chased away doesn't attack because it's bad. It's defending the only thing it has left, itself. It doesn't trust because trust once betrayed it. Its brain has learned that human equals pain, and now every hand reaching out, even kindly, feels like a threat. But what's most extraordinary is that dogs can still trust again. Even after years on a chain, even after abuse, sometimes all it takes is a calm voice, a patient rhythm, a scent that feels safe. Then the dog's brain begins to release oxytocin again, the same hormone that bonds a mother to her child. The dog starts to learn that humans can mean safety again. That ability to rebuild trust is both their greatest gift and their greatest curse, because it lets them come back to life, but also makes them suffer more deeply when they're left alone. Every dog you see on the street isn't just homeless, it's packless. And that's something much deeper. An abandoned dog doesn't stop being a dog. It doesn't stop trusting. It just needs proof that it can this time. And perhaps that's why those who rescue animals say there's no feeling quite like it. Because when a frightened dog finally comes close again, lays its head on your knees, and lets you touch it, that's not a simple gesture. That's forgiveness, and not one we always deserve. And maybe it's in those quiet, trembling dogs that we see the truest part of their nature. Not in the ones barking or chasing a ball, but in the ones who, for the second time, try to trust a world that once failed them. Because in them still flickers what is most pure in a dog: the ability to love despite everything. Since the dawn of humanity, the dog has walked beside us, not only in daily life, but in symbols, myths, and faith. Long before it became a pet, it was something sacred, a guardian, a guide, a messenger between worlds. No other animal occupies so many roles in human culture: hero and demon, protector and spirit guide, bringer of good fortune and omen of death. In this creature, humans have always seen a reflection of their own soul: loyalty, instinct, courage, and shadow. In Egyptian mythology, the dog, or rather its cousin, the jackal, was the embodiment of the god Anubis. He watched over the realm of the dead, guiding souls through darkness, weighing the heart of the departed against the feather of truth. Egyptians believed his canine head was no accident. It symbolized the sense that could perceive death and passage, because the dog felt what humans could not see. To this day, depictions of dogs can be found at the feet of pharaohs, guarding their journey beyond life. In ancient Greece, this role belonged to Cerberus, the three-headed hound guarding the gates of Hades. He prevented the dead from returning and kept the living from crossing over. Cerberus wasn't a monster, as he's often portrayed. He was a guardian of order, a symbol of the boundary between life and death. His three heads were said to see the past, present, and future. Even then, humans gave the dog the power to stand watch over worlds beyond their understanding. In Norse mythology, there was Garmr, the mighty hound guarding Helheim, the realm of the dead. His howls were said to herald Ragnarok, the end of all things. Among the Celts, dogs symbolized bravery and loyalty. Warriors painted them on their armor, and legends spoke of heroes known as the Hounds of War, like the demigod Ku Chulainn, who took the name of a dog as a vow of loyalty and sacrifice. Across Asia, the dog also held sacred meaning. In China, it was a symbol of luck and protection. The stone lions guarding temple gates actually bear more resemblance to dogs. The few dogs, spiritual sentinels that ward off evil. In Japan, the dog protects the household fire and stands as a guardian of safety and childbirth. In Hinduism, the god Bhairava, an incarnation of Shiva, is often depicted with a black dog at his side, as the guardian of time and destiny. Throughout human history, the dog has always stood by us in moments of extremity. On battlefields, during long journeys, at the threshold between life and death. It guided the blind, guarded herds, defended homes. In the First and Second World Wars, dogs were used to carry messages, locate the wounded, and detect mines. But they were also symbols of hope. Amid the ruins of war, it was often only a dog who could find a human being. Now imagine this. The room smells faintly of disinfectant, the light is cold, and the silence hangs heavy. A child sits curled up on a chair, unresponsive to the therapist's voices. Then the door opens, and a dog walks in. It does nothing special, doesn't bark, doesn't rush forward, just sits down. After a moment, the child lifts their head, looks, and then reaches out a hand. It's a moment that can't be measured in any unit. It's not magic. It's dog therapy. Dog therapy, or canine-assisted therapy, is one of the most beautiful forms of interspecies contact ever created by humans. Not because the dog performs tricks, but because its presence awakens something deeply primal in us. A sense of safety, calm, and unconditional acceptance. What comes naturally to a dog, touch, gaze, warmth, can, for a human, be a medicine stronger than words. Modern science describes in detail what happens in our bodies when we touch a dog. Within minutes, levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, drop, while oxytocin rises, the same hormone that bonds a mother and child. The heart slows down, blood pressure stabilizes, breathing softens. The body begins to trust again. It's no coincidence that dogs are now part of therapeutic programs in hospitals, nursing homes, and centers for children with autism or trauma. But dog therapy isn't just emotion. It's also biology and precision. Therapy dogs undergo long and meticulous training. They learn to respond to emotions, not words. They can sense changes in tone of voice, in the scent of sweat, in muscle tension. Their sense of smell detects subtle shifts in human body chemistry. A dog can smell stress or even an epileptic seizure before it begins. For them, it's not a miracle. It's simply reading signals that humans emit without realizing it. In working with children, the dog becomes a bridge. A child who cannot trust adults often begins communication with the dog first. They say their first words to it, not to a human. That's the breakthrough. Because a dog doesn't judge, doesn't correct, doesn't expect. Its patience is endless, and that's enough to crack the shell of fear. In therapy for children with autism, the dog is often the only bridge through which the child crosses into the outside world. In nursing homes, the dog restores something no medicine can: the sense of closeness. It's enough for it to rest its head on someone's knees, to exhale softly, to look. Elderly people who no longer have the strength for conversation smile, often for the first time in months. They calm down, begin to speak, recall dogs from their youth. Memories once thought extinguished light up again in their minds. For war veterans, for those who have lived through trauma or loss, the dog acts as a living emotional compass. It senses anxiety, lies down beside them before they themselves realize a panic attack is coming. Studies show that the presence of a dog can reduce anxiety and depression levels by up to 60%. But for those who felt it, the numbers don't matter. What matters is that moment, the first peaceful sleep in months, simply because someone is there. Not every dog is suited for therapy. It's not about breed, but character. What's needed is calmness, empathy, patience. Therapy dogs often seem to choose this role themselves. as if they know their task is not to run or fetch, but simply to be present. Often they are Labradors, Golden Retrievers, or Border Collies, but mixed breeds work just as well. It's not appearance that determines the ability to heal, but heart. And although dog therapy today has protocols, certifications, and scientific studies, at its core, it remains simple. A meeting of two species that have learned to trust each other without words. In a world that keeps speeding up, the dog reminds humans that sometimes the greatest thing we can do is simply be there. A dog does not heal in the medical sense. It restores, in a way that cannot be explained by biochemistry alone. Perhaps that's why dog therapy works where all other methods fail. The dog asks for nothing in return. It does not question the past. It does not ask why someone suffers. It simply rests its head on your lap and waits. And in that gesture lies the whole history of its species. From the wolf guarding the fire to the companion who now guards the human heart. There are areas in the human brain that remain silent until a dog enters our life. Areas that, as MRI studies show, do not respond to the sight of a child, to contact with another adult, or even to other animals. These are subtle but real traces of the evolution of humans living alongside dogs, as if our species, over thousands of years of close coexistence, recorded a special emotional channel, accessible only through this one relationship. In 2022, Japanese researchers at Nagoya University conducted an experiment that caused quite a stir in the scientific world. Participants, both dog owners and those who had never lived with dogs, were shown short clips of various animals: dogs, cats, birds, children, and adults. The results were clear. In people with a strong bond to a dog, the medial cortex and nucleus accumbens were activated, areas responsible for reward, bonding, and care, and in a way incomparable to any other stimulus. Even after years apart, these responses persisted, as if the brain remembered the path to the dog forever. This discovery is more than a curiosity. It means that contact with a dog can unlock emotional potentials in the human mind that might never be fully activated otherwise. Dog owners in EEG studies show brainwave patterns similar to those observed during deep calm and focus. A dog thus acts not only as a friend, but as a biological regulator of emotions, engaging brain pathways that modern civilization seems increasingly to deprive us of. But it's not just about emotions. Brain imaging also shows that during interaction with a dog, areas responsible for empathic understanding of intentions, the theory of mind, are activated. These are regions that normally enable us to read another human, their moods, thoughts, intentions. Yet a dog, through its presence, becomes a catalyst for this ability. It teaches us to interpret subtle signals, not words, but gestures, glances, micro movements. It's empathy training in its purest form. Some scientists suggest that this ability may have had evolutionary significance. A human who could read their dog had a better chance of survival. They knew when danger was near, when the animal sensed something they could not. This cooperation, lasting thousands of years, literally rewired our nervous system. It created new connections between emotion, movement, memory, and instinct. Modern neuroimaging shows that contact with a dog activates both limbic centers and motor structures, as if the brain were preparing for joint action. Interestingly, a child does not trigger the same effect. Children activate a different circuit, the parental system, based on care, control, and oversight. A dog, on the other hand, triggers something more primal, co-feeling and instant emotional synchronization. It's a sensation that needs no language, flowing directly from the body. That's why a person who has never had a dog does not experience a certain inner calm. That specific state when the body self-regulates and the heart beats in rhythm with another being. One could say that a dog is the missing element in the human emotional system. It completes what evolution built together. Without it, these brain structures exist but remain dormant. It's like an instrument that can only produce sound when the right string is touched, so it's not just a bond. It's a biological interdependence embedded so deeply that it has become part of our neurochemical landscape. A human and a dog are not two beings side by side. They are a system that breathes together, regulates together, feels together. And when one part disappears, the brain notices. Not symbolically, but literally, in electrical impulses, in quiet regions that fall silent with the departure of a friend. This is why people who have lost a dog describe it as a pain unlike mourning a human. Because it is not only an emotional loss, it is a neurobiological gap. The brain loses activity that nothing can replace. And perhaps therein lies the greatest mystery of this relationship, that a dog does not just live in our home, but also resides in our brain.